What if your brain never forgot that conversation? Why? Does it keep playing again, and again? Is it regret, anxiety, or is your mind trying to protect you? Let's find out.
It's 2:14 in the morning, and you are wide awake replaying something somebody said to you 11 hours ago. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact moment your brain decided that conversation wasn't over yet, and the moment is not what you think. Maybe it wasn't a fight. Maybe it was something small, a joke that landed wrong, a silence that lasted 1 second too long. And yet, here you are hours later, in the dark, running the same 90 seconds of dialogue on a loop you didn't choose to press play on. Psychologists have a word for this. Not anxiety, not insomnia. Something far more specific and far more common than you've been told. It's called rumination, and it isn't your brain malfunctioning. It's your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do, just pointed at the wrong target. Same man, same kitchen, 12 hours apart. The only thing that changed is what his mind decided was still unfinished. You've felt this. The urge to text back an explanation to a conversation that ended hours ago to argue with someone who isn't even in the room. In the next 12 minutes, we're going to take that feeling apart piece by piece, using neuroscience, one real story, and a method that actually closes the loop. Because the question was never, why can't you stop replaying it? The real question is, what is your brain still trying to finish? Inside your brain, there's a network that switches on the moment you stop being busy. Scientists call it the default mode network. It's the same system that activates when you're in the shower, driving home, or lying in bed anytime your hands are busy but your mind is free. There's a name for what happens when a free-roaming mind lands on something unresolved. It's called the Zeigarnik Effect, and once you learn it, you'll see it everywhere. In E to RT, a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something strange in a Vienna cafe. Waiters remembered unpaid orders perfectly, but forgot them the second the bill was settled. Unfinished tasks, she found, stay loud in memory. Finished ones go quiet almost immediately. Your brain doesn't file things by importance, it files them by whether they feel closed. A conversation that ends with tension, ambiguity, or silence reads to your brain as an open door, and open doors demand to be checked, again and again. This is why replaying feels involuntary. It is involuntary. Your prefrontal cortex isn't choosing to relive the moment a much older, faster system is insisting that it must. That oldest system is your amygdala, your brain's threat detector. And to your amygdala, social rejection registers the same way a physical attack does. Brain scans show it. Being excluded, criticized, or embarrassed lights up the same regions as physical pain. Your brain isn't being dramatic. It's using the only alarm system it has. 50,000 years ago, being cast out of the group was a death sentence. Your brain built an early warning system for that, and it never stopped running. That alarm can't tell a tiger from an awkward pause in a text reply. To your nervous system, both can mean you might lose your place in the group. So, let's bring this back to one specific person. Not a composite, not a stock example, a real pattern, played out through one ordinary Tuesday. 9 in the morning. Daniel has a job interview he's been preparing for 3 weeks. By all accounts, it goes well. Good eye contact. Strong answers. A genuine laugh shared over a story about a failed project. He leaves feeling, for once, like he didn't overflank a single word. But right at the door, she says one sentence almost as an afterthought. 6 words, and Daniel doesn't think about them again. Not until that night. Later that same afternoon, a second conversation. His sister Mia. A disagreement about their father that's been simmering for months finally boils over, right there on the cafe terrace. She says something sharp. He says something sharper back. And then, silence. The kind of silence that doesn't end a conversation. It just pauses it. By 6 o'clock, Daniel has had 2 unresolved conversations in one day. Most people would call that an unlucky Tuesday. His brain calls it 2 open files. During the day, he's fine, busy, distracted. The interview and the argument sit quietly in the back of his mind, 2 doors, closed but not locked. But then the apartment goes quiet. The to-do list ends. And that's exactly when the default mode network clocks back in for its shift. He doesn't replay the whole interview. He replays 6 words, the ones the interviewer said almost as an afterthought, right at the door. What did she mean by that? Was it a compliment? A warning? Boilerplate, she says to every candidate? His brain pulls up the file and immediately flags it, unresolved. This is the mechanism in action. Your brain isn't remembering the moment, it's rerunning it, searching for an ending that already happened, off-screen, without you. He opens his messages with Mia, reads the last exchange for the 4th time tonight. His thumb hovers over the keyboard, ready to type something he isn't sure what. He writes 4 versions of the same message, deletes everyone. Some part of him knows sending it at 2 a.m. has never made a conversation feel finished. 2 open files, 1 mind, and it's about to get worse because his brain is going to start connecting them to things that happened years ago. This is called rumination spiral. One unresolved moment reminds your brain of another, and another. Suddenly, you're not replaying a conversation, you're auditing your entire personality. Did Mia mean what she said, or was she just tired? Did the interviewer's comment mean he didn't get the job? Was that thing he said years ago actually rude? None of these questions have answers available at 3 a.m. But his brain keeps asking anyway, because an unanswered question feels biologically like unfinished business. He gets up, drinks water, checks a lock that's already locked. None of it is really about the lock, it's energy with nowhere else to go. This is the part nobody warns you about. Rumination doesn't feel like overreacting. From the inside, it feels like being responsible, like finally taking the conversation seriously. That feeling is the trap. Replaying a moment feels like closing in on an answer. In reality, the hourglass never empties. You're just watching the same sand fall. At 3:14 a.m., 1 hour after we met him, Daniel finally asks a different question. Not, what did she mean, but why am I still standing at this window? Remember the Zeigarnik Effect? Here's the part most people never learn. The effect isn't permanent. The moment a task feels complete, even artificially, the brain lets it go. This is the difference between rumination and reflection. Reflection asks a question and looks for an answer. Rumination asks the same question and just turns up the volume. Reflection has an exit. Rumination is a maze with no doors. It was never trying to find an answer, just to feel in control of something already over. So Daniel tries something his therapist suggested months ago and never used. He calls it the unsent letter. Write everything you'd say if there were no consequences at all. Not to Mia, not to the interviewer, to no one. The letter Daniel writes finally says the 6 words he'd been avoiding, even thinking clearly. I'm afraid I'm not enough. That's the real open door. Not the interview, not the argument, just one fear, wearing 2 different conversations as a disguise. Naming the real fear doesn't make it disappear, but it stops the brain from treating it as unfinished business, because now, finally, the right file is open. He doesn't send it. He doesn't need to. The letter was a message to the part of his brain still on guard at 3 a.m. I heard you. Stand down. Researchers call this closure, and the science is surprisingly forgiving. You don't need the other person to apologize. You don't even need them to know. Closure can be self-generated. Write the unsent letter. Set a worry window 10 minutes on purpose, then closed. Name the fear under the fight. None of these need the other person to change. This won't be the last time Daniel's mind reaches for the replay button. But tonight, for the first time, he knows what to do when it does. The conversations didn't get resolved tonight. Mia hasn't replied. The job is still uncertain, but the loop his brain was stuck in that closed quietly on its own. This is worth remembering. You don't have to win the replay or land the perfect comeback at 3 a.m. Just give your brain a reason to believe the file is closed. Morning! Same bedroom, same window, but the light pouring through tells a completely different story than the one we left behind at 3 a.m. Mia texts first. Just 3 words. Can we talk? Here's the quiet twist. The 6 words Daniel replayed all night mean almost nothing once they actually talk it through. It turns out she'd been replaying it too. Her own version. Her own 6 words. Almost every rumination loop has a second person, somewhere, looping right alongside you. And Daniel never did hear back about that job, but by the time the rejection email arrived, the 6 words from that interviewer had already lost their power over him. So if you're someone who replays conversations, and statistically, almost everyone watching this is, here's what actually helps, starting tonight. First, ask what the conversation is actually standing in for. Most replayed moments aren't about the words. They're about a fear those words accidentally touched. Second, write the unsent letter. Not to send, just to give the fear somewhere to go besides around and around in your own skull at 2 a.m. Third, set a worry window. Same 10 minutes, same time daily, where you're allowed to think about it on purpose. Outside that window, the thought gets a polite, not now. None of this makes the hard conversations disappear. It just stops your mind from refighting them forever. That's the whole difference between healing and stalling. If this video described a loop you recognize, the late-night replays, the unsent texts, the imaginary arguments, you are nowhere close to alone in this. In fact, overthinking and replaying conversations are some of the most searched mental health phrases on the entire internet. You are one of millions running this exact same loop tonight. If you want the full method, 10 minutes, step by step, the way we use it ourselves, that video is coming. Don't make us say we told you so. Subscribe and turn on notifications, not because we're asking nicely, but because your brain already knows what happens to things you leave unfinished. Remember the moment from the beginning we promised to explain? It isn't 2:14 a.m. It's the second a conversation ends in silence instead of clarity. You can't always control how a conversation ends, but you can control whether you give your mind permission to close the file before the silence does it for you. It's 2:14 in the morning, and for the first time in a while, you're simply asleep. If you replay anything tonight, let it be this video built to be watched twice.